So I want to go over a list with you.
Okay.
Right? And you can only say 2 words. It's underrated or overrated.
All right.
Right? That's it,
man.
right? So we'll give them the list, right?
Oh, boy.
So we're gonna start with some players from back in the day. Jared Allen, underrated or overrated?
I would have to say underrated. That guy was pretty special. He had some pretty special moments and dictated a lot of how good his defenses were. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. Dwight Freeney.
Well, I'll never say that guy's overrated.
Because some people he was small.
Well, here's the reality. Dwight was one of the first guys, in my opinion, in the era of when you started, trying to chip, help, dude, you go watch his games, there's 2 or 3 people blocking him on every pass play. I mean, no one almost hardly ever left him one-on-one except for certain situations in games. And so I think that he's one of those guys that kind of in that era of used to, you just went out there and played and really good players get their sacks or whatever. And then they're entered an era where it's all right, we might have to eliminate one rusher.
Yes.
And I think he was kind of right in that mold of that's when they started doing it. They started literally chipping, doubling him. I mean, you had certain protections where the backs just stayed in and helped with him, and that was it. They weren't even picking up blitzers and stuff. So he was a guy who was a really special rusher. And obviously in a great situation. He's for him, as a pass rusher, you're playing with Peyton Manning, you're playing with an offense that's putting up points.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of ops to rush. But he was a really special one, there's no doubt about it.
What's your feeling? You Coach Tate, you got to, these couple of plays, you got to get
we ain't giving you no help, no check.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that in the moment, you're like, yeah, you want that. But he's definitely one of the toughest guys that you'd ever have that it's all right, there's going to be some moments in this game where I call them those guys where they're going to edge you or they're going to beat you a little bit, and you got to have an answer for how many times can I consistently keep him away from the quarterback long enough for us to get the ball out. But eventually he's going to get close. Or
hey,
he's gonna
you better hunker down. You better hunker down.
He's
coming.
Hey, Whit, you better hunker down.
Better lock it down.
Lock it down.
Sir.
Yeah.
All right, John Abraham.
John Abraham.
Jets from the Falcons.
You know what? I know it's a consistent theme, but underrated as well. I thought John was one of those guys, had he stayed healthy and been in some right situations, unbelievable player. I mean, I thought he was a really, really good rusher.
You're very nice. You're really nice, Whit. You're very nice.
But hey, the reality is those 3 guys, that's my opinion. They're guys that, Dwight, I think, is one of those guys that, I call him underrated just because I think of how much people helped on him. I think a little different than John.
Of course.
A little different than John and Jared. I would say this, best way I'll say it. John and Jared, I wouldn't say they're guys that you ever went into games and you said like for me, just at my level, hey, all right, we're going to help with this guy. Like guy like Dwight, you helped with him.
You better help.
He was that tremendous of a rusher. He was that fast off the ball. He was really that good. That's why I say he's underrated. But John, to me, is underrated just because I think that enough guys don't give a little respect of how good of a rusher he was.
Right.
Maybe not throughout the game.
Court, they have to double team me.
Yeah.
You got to double me. You got to double me. I'm on a basketball court. I'm nice, dog.
All right, we can move on to the next.
We can move on. Thank you.
I'm with him on a lot of stuff.
Jason Taylor.
Jason Taylor. You know what? I can't give an answer on the underrated because I think he's obviously always been heralded as a great rusher.
Right,
I didn't really play him. I didn't play him. So I don't have a great opinion on that
All
one.
right. Terrell Suggs.
Ooh.
Suggy.
I'll say this. This is why I'll say underrated. Because I think he falls in line with James Harrison in the sense of what they did play in and play out was bigger than what people realized. It had more to do than just sacks. I think there's guys in different areas where you're like, hey, man, this guy was a sack artist, like rushing the passer's their thing. Terrell Suggs and James Harrison literally would eliminate one side of the field. Like, you're not running the football over here. You're not leaving this guy one-on-one with me over here. Like, they would pretty much ruin game plans if you ever thought you're going to run towards Terrell Suggs and James Harrison. That's who they were as players. Like,
so what they bring to the table, some of the, like in basketball, some of those things that just don't show up.
Yeah,
in the
they
stats.
just don't show up. And the truth is, you go
things.
look how many times teams just literally couldn't run it that direction because those 2 guys were on the field.
Balling. Okay, one more. I think I know what you're going to say, but I still want to hear it. J.J. Watt. Because again, he's a dog, right? He's a dog, right? But again,
boy, we both scratching our heads on this one.
Man,
that's
how long this show last?
Hey, we about to wrap it up.
It's turning the heat up in this joint.
We about to button it up.
I'm gonna take.
This is a good one. Oh man.
You know what?
Ooh, man.
I think it's still allowed in America. I'm gonna plead the 5th on that one.
Okay, there it is. I like it.